I'd like to officially welcome everyone to our seminar. Remodeling is something that can be a little daunting for some people. I'm going to assume that's why many of you are here. So today we're going to help you navigate what it takes to properly plan your dream remodel. That's the whole idea of it. This is your opportunity to make your home your dream place. Many people are remodeling. It's a great time to be remodeling, and you're not alone. We know statistically that people are investing in their homes. There's the study from the Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies that tracks this activity. And would you believe that this year, $520 billion with a B dollars will be invested across the United States into people improving their home. So you're in good company. You're doing the same that every other homeowner is considering or has been doing, which is remodeling. It can be very difficult to move. There's not a lot of housing stock. I think I overheard you share something like that with a family member that's looking to move. But some people also like where they are because they've been there for many years. This is where you've created memories. You might really love your neighbors and don't want to leave them, or be tied to your community and school district in other ways. So people are investing in their home because it makes a lot of sense to stay and just improve what you have. So I will allow Anne to get started and discuss our agenda.
So we'll talk about a couple of different things throughout the night. If you have a question about what the topic we're talking about, please feel free to ask me. But basically, we're going to talk about how to begin. What do you need to do to begin? We'll talk about a 5-step process that's very important in the building process. We'll talk about the latest design styles, and then we will, of course, give you an opportunity to ask some questions. So I'm going to be putting on my glasses on and off here, so bear with me. So how do you begin? You're all here, and you're starting off to a good start. But what are the steps that you need to actually begin? A lot of times people have a plan. A lot of times people have a documentation of exactly what they want to do and what color and what style and what detail they want to do. A lot of people have no idea. But it is helpful to have somewhat of a plan. Know where you want to be. Know kind of a little bit about the project. What are the things you don't like about your existing house? What are the things that are driving you crazy about your bathroom? Are there any real problems? It's best to tell the contractor when they come to your house, what are the things that your goals that you want to accomplish? Maybe it's an inspiration of a picture you saw. Maybe you want to redo your kitchen because you saw this kitchen and you said, I have to have it. Maybe it was a pretty light fixture that you had. Maybe it's my bathroom is leaking. Maybe your dishwasher stopped working. So there's lots of reasons, but it's helpful for a contractor to come to your home to understand what those reasons are. Think about your budget. Think about your investment goals. It's helpful for us to know how to plan your dream. Are we designing to your dream, or are we designing to your budget? We've done kitchens for $100,000. We've done kitchens for $700,000. So as designers, we love to design. We love to create. And if you tell us you want this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, we're going to give you this and this. But of course, it will escalate the price. So it's helpful for us a little bit to understand your budget. So think about that. We're not being nosy. We're not trying to, do exactly what you're telling us your budget is. We want to be able to design properly. How do you choose the right contractor? So there's lots of ways to do this, and I'm going to talk broadly because we have a couple of different types of projects going on here. So a lot of people then on the first, when it's time to decide what to do, they have no idea where to begin. They say, let me hire a designer. And that's fine. Then if you're building additions, someone says, okay, wait, let me hire an architect. That's the first place that I should do. Or they say, I found this guy in the phone book, Jim the handyman, he's going to be the perfect person for me. Or, oh wait, now why not Bob the contractor? Why not go with him? There's so many different ways to do this. The first way, if you hire the designer or the architect, they're great. They're going to do a beautiful job for you. But when the builder gets involved, a lot of times the builder looks at the plan and says, this is beautiful, this is a great plan, this plan's going to cost you $300,000, and you say, I didn't want to spend $300,000. So then you have to start all over again with that architect and begin to to design according to your budget. The architect and the designer don't know how much things cost. The builder is the one who understands how much things cost. So that's the difficult way when you're dealing with an architect or a designer. Bob the handyman, he's okay for hanging a picture or, maybe changing a couple things, painting a couple things here and there, but he's not good for the big project. You never want someone who's going to be the tile setter, the electrician, the plumber, the framer, the everybody. You want someone who's going to be specific to the trade that they have the expertise in. The general contractor is fine. General contractor is somebody who all these people will actually do a very nice job for you, but the general contractor will require more involvement on your part. You might have to find the electrician, or you might have to be there to tell the tile setter what to do, or you might have to go get your own tile, or go get your own plumbing fixtures, or go get your own flooring. So a general contractor will help you with the project, but you're going to be very, very involved. And if you have the time and the patience and the knowledge and the expertise to do all that, it's a good plan. A design build, which is what Cipriani is, a design build takes your project from concept to completion and does everything for you. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Whomever you decide to hire, just make sure you're hiring the right person and make sure you're making sure their credentials and everything is up to date. You want to make sure they have a license. You want to make sure they have insurance. You want to make sure they have workman's comp. And I know that's a lot obvious. Everybody says, oh, of course I would do that. But make sure that you're finding out what their insurance number is. Make sure you're finding out what their workman's comp, how much workman's comp they have. You never want to hire someone who doesn't have any of those things. God forbid they get hurt on your job, and then you're liable for it. So do your homework on that. Yeah, please.
A couple of things with that, because hiring a contractor, there are so many important things, as Ann started with, making sure that they're registered with the state. But if you were to come to an agreement with them, you want to make sure that they've given you a start date, that they've shared with you how long they believe your project is going to take, and have a conversation about how they're going to deliver on what that finish date means. Also make sure that they're providing you with an opportunity to have a rescission. There is something known as rescission dates. So after you have approved your agreement, you do have a window where you can rethink your approach on this project. So those are some other things that you should be asking a general contractor or anyone that you're looking to hire. But really, when can I get my project started, and how you're going to deliver it in the way that you promise?
Yep, absolutely. Ask for references. Ask for references from last month. Ask for references from 5 years ago. Everybody's going to have a great experience a month after their project is done, but you want to follow up. How was your project 5 years ago? Did it fall apart? How's it holding up? Were they there for you if you needed something fixed? So definitely call people and ask for references. How long have they been in business? Most contractors start a company and are closed within 5 years. It's kind of a common thing with contractors. There's not a lot of longevity with contractors. So the reason you want somebody who's been in business for a long time is because you want to make sure that they're going to be there for you if you have a problem down the road. You don't want to have somebody who you need and they're gone, they're out of business, and then suddenly you're in trouble. So make sure they have a lot of longevity. Make sure they have reviews, good and bad. Make sure you read all those Google reviews. Ask about the installation techniques. How are they installing things? What type of materials are they using? Are they installing things from the big box stores, or are they going to plumbing supply stores? There is a difference between a faucet or a toilet that comes from Home Depot and a faucet or a toilet that comes from a plumbing supply store. So ask them where they're getting their material from, because you want that to last for a long time too. Ask them what their warranties are. Warranties are super important. In New Jersey, I think with warranties, I don't even think a company has to state a warranty for very long, right?
You have that right. A company is not obligated to provide you with a one-day warranty, for that matter. All they have to do is just put it in writing about the duration, the length of their warranty. So it could be even 0 days. Just, again, they have to make it clear to you. But most people offer what, a 1 year? Is that pretty common?
Yeah, and 1 year sounds like it's a great time. Wow, 1 year, but really nothing's going to happen in your project the first year. Nothing's going to happen in your project the first year. You need it to cycle through the different seasons, a couple of seasons, so that if a nail pop happens or if the caulk starts to separate from your cabinet because of expansion and contraction, which is kind of a natural thing, you want somebody to come back in a couple of years to fix that. You don't want to have to be dealing with that yourself. So Cipriani, our warranties are 3 years, and you should expect that from every company that you work with. Okay, so I talked to you a little bit about design build. I talked about the other types of contractors. We are a design build firm. The true definition of a design build firm is one team under one roof with one shared vision. Imagine if you were to hire a designer who had lots of great ideas. And then you brought in the architect, and the architect had lots of different ideas. And then the builder came in, and the builder said, wait a minute, this is silly. Let's do this all over. Imagine how chaotic that would be. So you want to make sure that somebody is with you from start to finish. And a design build firm, the entire team is under one roof. Your project will start with the designer. Me, Ed, Manny, Jed, Ken. It will start with us coming out to your house, talking to you about the project, talking about you about all your ideas. As the project evolves, we'll bring in the necessary team members to figure out the next step of what has to happen in your project. And once the project starts being built, we will have a project manager who's going to handle all of the details of your project. That team is with you throughout the entire project. The designer is with you from start to finish so that we can make sure that everything is handled perfectly for your project from the very beginning to the very end. It's a very smooth journey. It's a very easy journey. And that's why a design build firm is a very successful way for you to do a project. Be careful of the name design build firms, though. There's a lot of firms out there that say they're design build firm, but it's Bob the builder's wife is going with you to pick out the design for your bathroom. So you want to make sure that they're qualified designers. You want to make sure that the people have a lot of experience who you're working with. Any questions on design build? No? Okay. Very good audience. Okay, so a process for any company, no matter whom you're dealing with, whether it's a small company or a large company, a process is extremely important into a successful journey. Let me tell you why I work for Cipriani, and it's mainly because of this process. In my previous life, I worked for a company where I worked with a lot of builders. I had 80 builders for my accounts, and I helped their clients with their selections. I found that job to be extremely challenging because very few, if any, builders had a process. Cipriani was not one of my clients, just so you know that at that time. But they would send their clients into me, and I'd say to the client, okay, what's your design? I don't know. What is your allowance for that product? Well, I don't know. When do you need the material by? Well, I don't know. When's your project going to start? Well, I don't know. And it would drive me crazy because these poor homeowners were spending a lot of money and they didn't know what the heck was going on. And then the builder would call me the next day and say, Ann, I need these materials by tomorrow. I'm like, you can't have them by tomorrow. So anyway, so the process was always very difficult with many builders because there was no process. So when I interview with Cipriani, we have a production room, which we have in the back, which we can show you tonight. They brought me through and shared the 5-step process that they offered. And I thought, oh my gosh, somebody finally figured out to have a good journey. You hear all the terrible experiences people have with building, but Cipriani was able to offer this great experience with the 5-step process. So I'll elaborate on that a little bit more. But step 1 would be to listen, define, refine, define, and build. And I'll go into them just a little bit in detail for you. So step 1 is to listen, and I feel like that is the most important part of a project. This is where we come to your house. This is where we're going to come to your house. We're going to sit down at your kitchen table. We're going to talk about your dreams. We're going to talk about your vision. You may have them. You may not have one. We'll create the vision if you don't have one, but we're going to talk about the different things that you want to achieve in your project. If someone comes to your house with a clipboard and a tape measure and says, hey lady, show me the bathroom, I want to go up and measure, and that's all they do, run away as fast as you can, because you want someone to listen to you. You will be investing a good amount of money into your project, and you want to make sure everything that you want is going to be obtained. We'll talk about your existing space. We'll discuss your goals and budgets a little bit. Again, talking about what I talked about a little bit earlier. We want you to learn a little bit about the company at that point, just as important for us to understand your project. We want you to understand a little bit about us, because you want to make sure you know the person that you're hiring. Of course, we will take measurements and we will take photos, so we'll do the technical assessment of your project, and then we'll discuss what happens next. So after your first visit, you should have a good understanding of the company, we should have a good understanding of you, and then you should understand what's happening next. After we visit your house, we come back and we do our homework and we create a design for you. So we're going to develop 2D and 3D concepts for you. We're going to explore some preliminary layouts. We're going to align your vision with function. So by that, I mean the pretty's going to happen. We're all very good designers, and we will make your project pretty, but we want to make sure it's functional too. So we want to make sure we cover every aspect. When I go into a kitchen at some point, I open everybody's cabinets and I'm like, okay, where's the Cheerios going to go? Where are the Tupperware's going to go? Where's that blender you never use going to go? So we're going to lay it out so that it all makes sense for you. We'll also create an initial investment range for you. So what can you expect from the second appointment? At our office, we invite you back here for our second appointment so we could show you the design on the big screen. But you can expect a preliminary 2D drawing of your project. You can expect, this is a kitchen obviously, you can expect a 3D drawing, and then a very detailed estimate of what your project will be. We work in a range at this early part when we give you the price of your project. And the reason is nobody can give you an exact price of your project this early in the project. We give you a range because there's still lots of things that we actually haven't discovered. We don't know what kind of tile you're using. We don't know what kind of cabinet you're using. We don't know if you want marble or if you want plastic, or, not that you're going to have plastic. But we want to give you a range so that you can explore the highs and the lows and figure out exactly what you want. But our estimate will be very detailed. Did you ever go to have a contractor come into your house to give you an estimate for something, and he gives you a piece of paper that says, yeah, I'm going to do your kitchen and I'm going to do the cabinets and the floors and the countertop, and it's going to be this much dollars, and it's only like a 5-sentence estimate. Have you ever had that happen to you? A lot of times that happens.
Did see one person nodding in the back there. Yeah.
A lot of times that happens. You want to know exactly what they're doing. You want to know where your money is going into the project. So you want to know, are they doing framing? We build our estimates just like the project is going to be built. So our estimates will start with demo, and it'll start with framing, and it'll start with insulation and HVAC and cabinets and electric and plumbing. So you'll have an idea of what each category will be done in your project. So you want to make sure that someone's giving you an extremely thorough estimate. Okay, so at this point, you've met the contractor, you've talked about the estimate, you've seen a little bit about what they can do. Let me jump back to those preliminary designs for a second. This is important. When you meet your contractor the next time and when they give you the estimate, you want to make sure they are giving you a good design, that you can understand what's going to happen. This is where the contractor has the opportunity to show off and show you what they're capable of. You don't want to ever have to pay for that design. So a lot of times you'll hear a contractor say, yeah, if you want me to draw it in 2D or 3D, I'll do that for you, but it's going to be $1,000. So no, you make sure that they are presenting you with a visual of what your project will look like along with the estimate, because you want to make sure that they're going to be able to do what they're promising that they can do. So anyway, so you've had a good opportunity to meet with the contractor, you've chosen who you like, and you're ready to move forward. And this is where the fun begins. So this is where we start defining and refining the project. We will do more site visits, we'll fine-tune the layouts, we'll align the design with your budget considerations. You might love the price we gave you. You might say, oh, I need it to be a little bit lower. You might say, I'd like it to be a little bit higher. Nobody ever says that, but maybe you will. But we'll try to, we call that value engineering, where we try to funnel things into the right categories so that we could try to achieve your goals. We'll finalize the selections and we'll do some documentation. Let me talk about the site visit. So when we come to your house, we're at your house for an hour or two, we're chatting for a while. There's a lot more things that we have to look at that are a little bit more technical that we like to do on our site visit. Like, Amy, I know you want to take a wall down between your kitchen and your dining room. That wall may look great and it may look easy to knock down. We may realize that it's not a load-bearing wall, but we want to know what's inside that wall. We want to, take our scanner and know if there's plumbing or HVAC or wires. We want to know what's there because we certainly don't want any surprises when the project starts. So the goal of our site visit is to come to the house and take a look at things so that we have no surprises once the project begins. We're not like HGTV when the designer calls the homeowner and says, homeowner, we didn't know that was a load-bearing wall. Well, that's just silly. So we try to explore as many of those things as we possibly can. So I'll bring Dave or Wes or one of the guys out to do a little bit more of a thorough site visit for you. Renderings relieve uncertainty. Those rough renderings you saw from a couple slides ago will turn into more exact, more detailed details for you. So we'll do a better 2D drawing. 1/4 of an inch in a kitchen means a lot to me. If I mess up your measurements by 1/4 of an inch, that's a big deal. So we're going to come back, we're going to remeasure, we're going to make sure everything's going to fit perfectly. You'll be able to see a very detailed layout outlining every size cabinet that you have. You'll see elevations so you could see what this project will look like, and then you'll see a more thorough and more detailed 3D drawing. This is a project that's under construction now, and I'll tell you, it looks just like this picture. So I can't wait to have real pictures to show you because it turned out to be almost identical to that. It looks really good. Documentation. Documentation's very important. You never want to do a project where nobody's telling you exactly what's being done. We put together a book that outlines every single detail of your project, starting with demolition, moving on to area preparation, waste removal, framing, electric, siding, gutters. This is for an addition. Plumbing, you'll have electrical plans showing where the lights are going, where the switches are going, how they're connecting. So every detail of your project will be outlined in this book, every make, model, color, description of everything that's going into your home. I've done books that are 60 pages. I've done books that are 700 pages. So we document everything so that this is really good clarification. There's no questions back and forth like, oh, project manager, Ann told me I could have this. Well, nope, it's all written in the book. This book is designed for me to leave this book on the driveway. Your designer will do this book for you. We could leave this book on the driveway. I can go on vacation. You could go on vacation. The project manager could pick it up and build your project exactly how we specified it. So this is a really nice feature. Has anyone had any projects done where it's been detailed like this? Do you think that would be helpful to you? Yeah? Okay. Very good. Good answer. Okay. Styles. So let's talk a little bit about design styles. Notice I didn't use the word trends. Trends are wonderful. I love them. They're beautiful. They're fun. There's a place for them in every project. But I want your project to be timeless. The trends we'll use as accents. We'll throw them in to do some special things in your project. So we're going to talk about some of the things that are very trending, very much trending now, in styles. So what has happened to colors? So let's see, let's go back to the 1980s. 1980s, everybody had honey oak, right? Honey oak was popular, all the beautiful honey oak cabinets, the gunstock floors. It was all about the wood back in the 80s. Then it switched over to whites, and then it switched over to grays. Whites never completely went away, but grays became very popular. As you could see by the pictures in our showroom, we've been doing a lot of white cabinets and a lot of gray cabinets for many years. But what's happening now is it's shifting back. It's shifting back to the wood tones. So you're going to see a lot going to see kind of contradicting wood tones. A lot of wood tones that are light. It's going to be the white oaks, the light maples. These are the colors that are typically trending now as far as styles. But equally, as much as the lights are trending, darks are trending too. So you're doing darks and lights, and you're kind of combining them together. I am doing a project right now that's under construction where the homeowner is doing this cabinet, and she's using this color green on another cabinet in her house. So there's the island is the green, and the perimeter cabinets are the wood. And it is so beautiful and so magnificent and so refreshing. You might look at this and say, I don't like that at all. And it's okay. Whatever you like, I don't care what color's trending. If it's red, white, and blue that's trending and you don't like red, white, and blue, go with your style. Go with what your personality is. And we'll talk about that. Like, I never want to go into a house where it's a very, very traditional house and do a modern kitchen. Like, you want your house to flow. You don't want to have to do a project where you have to now do the rest of your house so it matches the new project. So go with what you love. Styles are great, but it's more about your personality and kind of adapting the two together. So do you like the wood colors? What are you thinking about the darker colors now? Not into darker? No or yes? No. Amy?
I like the picture to the right. I like with whatever color that is in your PowerPoint.
Oh, over here.
Yeah.
Yes, that's this actually. That's this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have to go all dark. You don't have to go all light, but it's nice to see what's trending and what the styles are headed towards. White oak cabinetry, I said, was definitely in that style. Mixing metals. Years ago, you had to do all the same metal. You either did all chrome or all brushed nickel or all brass. It's okay to mix the metals. Imagine how beautiful a bathroom would be if it had a black faucet and some gold accents. Your kitchens, stainless steel appliances, throw a gold handle in there, throw a black faucet in there. So you can mix all them, make your light fixture a little bit different too. It looks so pretty when it's all comes together. So you don't have to worry about staying consistent with your metals anymore. Earth tone colors are popular. Beiges are a little bit back in style, very much back in style. So no longer the white and grays. It's kind of warmed up a little bit to the beiges and the warmer colors. Benjamin Moore's colors of the year. Every year, Benjamin Moore, Sherwin-Williams introduce their colors of the year. Benjamin Moore's are universal khaki, which you can see that tone, and silhouette. So in this home, they are blending kind of the beiges, the greens, the dark colors, and they have some light colors in there too. So again, it's all about your personality, and we'll figure that out and we'll find the right color palette and storyboard for you. This is a storyboard of a project that one of our designers is working on. And in contrast to that, this is a storyboard of another project that they're working on. So as you can see, everybody's doing things differently and adapting to whatever their style is. Statement pieces. So this is where I think trends come into play. I think you could do a lot of cool things with statement pieces. The wood timber, this is like a slat wood that you can do an accent wall with. You can introduce arches in your room, one of your room, maybe the entry into the kitchen, maybe a closet in the bathroom, maybe a pantry in the kitchen. You can introduce arches. Color drenching and wainscoting. Wainscoting is very much back in style, kind of wasn't in style for a little while. It was back years ago, but now wainscoting is very much in style. Now the shadow boxing, all different styles of shadow boxing can be done with chair rails and details. It makes it look very, very elegant and very beautiful. Color drenching, have you ever heard of color drenching? So color drenching is when you paint a room all the same color. You paint the walls, you paint the baseboard, you paint the ceiling, you paint the window trim, you paint the door trim, you paint the doors. Everything is the same color. You could do it in a light color, you could do it in a dark color, you could do it in any color you want, but it's all the same color. So, funny story, so years ago, I painted my son's bedroom, and I was always painting my kids' bedrooms because they always made a mess of them. So I got a little sloppy on the ceiling, so I'm like, oh, what the heck, I'll just paint the ceiling. And then I got a little sloppy on the window casing. I'm like, oh, what the heck, I'll just paint the window casing too. But here I invented color drenching. But now everybody's doing it. It's neat. It's neat for a statement room. It's neat for something different. So if it's your style, we can give it a try for you. Countertops. Those of you who are doing kitchens or bathrooms, you might be wondering what's out there in countertops. So basically, there are 3 types of countertops that I'm going to talk about. There's a lot more countertops that are out there, but we probably use 3 different ones in most of our projects. The first is granite. So granite is a man-made product. It comes from the earth. What you see is what you get. There's nothing manufactured about it. So as soon as it comes from the earth, that's what it looks like. Granite tends to have a more busier pattern, a more modeled pattern of stone. Hi. If you like the colors and the styles in the granite, it's a wonderful stone. This is one color, and this is another. Well, this is called Brown Fantasy. They tend to be more colorful than the other stones out there, but it's a great product. Granite has to be sealed on a regular basis, every 6 months to a year. It's a very easy process. You squirt it on like you would Windex, you wipe it in, and it's sealed. That just prevents it from, if you spill something on it and leave it there for a long time, it prevents it from staining. Granite is a more porous stone than other stones, so that's why you have to protect it. I would never tell you, and I'm going to tell you this because I'm going to compare the next stone, I would never tell you it's okay to take a hot pot out of the oven or the stove and put it on your countertop, but granite is more durable in that sense than other stones. I would totally not recommend it, but with other stones, you can't do that. So a little bit about granite. Any questions?
Yeah, about the sealant. There's no sealants that last longer than 6 to 12 months?
It depends on what your lifestyle is in your house, right? So if you have a lot of kids and you're always spilling things on it and you're always putting lots of soapy water on it, or you're using any kind of product that would possibly take that sealant away, then yes, I would recommend that you do it every 6 months to a year. I will tell you that I've had granite in my house for 10 years, and the first 3 years I was really good and I did it every year. And then maybe I waited 2 years, and I don't think I've done it for like 2.5 years. And my granite is fine. It's recommended that you use it on a regular basis. I always looked at mine, and if I dropped water on it and it beat it up, then I felt that the protectant was still there. If the water soaked in, then I thought it was time to reseal. It's a very easy process. Don't get upset like, oh my gosh, I have to seal my granite. Like, it takes about 3 minutes to seal your countertops. It's just spray and wipe and you're done. So the next one I'm going to talk about is quartzite. So quartzite is another natural stone. Beautiful, beautiful product. This is called Taj Mahal. This is the #1 selling stone out there these days. Very natural, very soft veining, very flowy. It's got a lot of beautiful movement to it. Quartzite is most likely going to be your most expensive stone. Performs somewhat like granite, needs to be sealed. You should never put a hot pot on it, but if you put, something warm out of the oven, it would probably be okay. But it's very durable, but what you see is what you get when it comes from the earth. But these are quite beautiful. The other one that you may be familiar with, which is very popular, is quartz. So you may have seen the white quartzes over the years that were very popular, white quartzes with gray veining. A lot of our countertops in these kitchens have the white quartzes with the gray veining. It always pairs beautifully with some of the white cabinets that we're doing. This is a man-made product. It's made with quartz and resins. So mixed together, it is consistent. Every piece of quartz that you see will be exactly the same. So there's not that natural variation. So you see consistency with this. You cannot put a hot pot on this. This you absolutely cannot. I'm not going to recommend it for the others, but this you absolutely cannot because it will burn a ring in it. So you'll get a brown ring around it. So you don't have to seal this. But the con of this one is you can't, you have to be a little bit more careful with the hotter things that come out of your oven. This is one style that's been popular for a while. Now they're coming out with some warmer colors. So now we're starting to see a little bit more beige. It's matching the wood tones that are coming out. And then this one is a quartz too. And if you hold this up next to the Taj Mahal, gosh, it's easy, they look very similar. So you have the man-made product or you have the natural product. So it depends on, what your daily living is. I always tell people that these 3 stones are great and you can have a good idea of what you want to use based on, the wearability of it. But as soon as we take you to a place that has all the slabs, you're going to walk around and you're going to see something, you're going to say, I had to have that because it's just beautiful. So you're going to pick it based on the beauty, not necessarily the durability, because I would say all 3 of these stones are very durable products.
But what about marble then? Because to me, marble is the most beautiful stone there is.
It is. And it's beautiful on a wall, and it's beautiful somewhere where it's not used on a daily basis. Marble's very porous. I have a bar in my house and I have marble on the bar, and every time somebody comes over, every time I have a party, there's 800 rings on my bar top, because when you put a glass down that's wet, it forms a ring. Or if you were to spill something on it, it's going to stain. So marble is a wonderful, beautiful product if you're not using your kitchen, or if you're not, using your vanity in your bathroom for makeup and things like that. If you're never going to touch it, go for marble. Yeah.
So it sounds between the granite and the quartzite, those are the more durable. Which one's the most durable?
I would say, which one is the most durable? I'd say they all have different properties. That's a hard question to answer. I don't think there is a proper answer to that. They all have their pros and cons. Taking precautions of how to seal it and do the proper things, I think I would have to say they're equal.
The more full answer involves geology. They're all man-made or all natural products, obviously, so it depends on the difference between quartzite and granite is basically the composition of the sand, the minerals that have been compressed over time, and so that difference speaks to durability, but it's not exactly one-on-one. There are some quartzites that are more and less because where they were also pulled from the earth. So really it kind of goes to porosity in general, which quartzite is a little bit more porous. So there, when we are planning and we're thinking about how we might extend a countertop past an island top so that you can sit under it, their durability factors are more in play. And we have different ways that we support countertops when we do that. But it's those kind of calculations in terms of durability, we don't want it to crack.
Mm-hmm.
What if you want that continuing backsplash and countertop, to be the same? I don't know what they call that. Is there one over the other, like especially behind the stove? Or?
You can definitely do that. So it's probably less expensive to do it with a man-made quartz, because every slab is the same, and I could match up that veining perfectly from the countertop all the way up to the backsplash. When you have a natural stone, every stone is just slightly different, so it's a little bit more tedious to try to match up those veins so they go properly up. So what happens then is you probably need an additional slab that you're probably going to waste. So we do it all the time. There's a process in how we do that. It's called a slab smith, where we do it on the computer, where we see the slab here, we see the slab here, and we can move the slabs so they align very nicely. But I would say it's possible with anything, but it's probably a little less expensive with quartz.
And there's no concern if it's behind the stove?
No. Nope, you're fine there.
I would also add to that, a lot of people do choose quartz for not only the reasons that Anne presented, but sometimes you can get quartz. Some of the quartzes can come not only in the traditional thickness, which is about 1 3/8 inches. of a countertop, but you can also get those quartzes in a slightly thinner version. So you're spending less money, and that backsplash is taking up less room under that cabinet.
Right. So there.
Okay. Ken, I'm going to let you talk about lighting.
Oh, I love talking about lighting.
Ken is a lighting geek sometimes. Fondly said.
Yes, because to me, lighting is incredibly important for every room. When you're remodeling, it's always a great opportunity to look at the different layers of lighting that a room should have. But we see them here. I want to start with natural lighting, because you just can't beat natural light. So when we are thinking about an addition, a family room, or any opportunity where we can add windows, we're going to talk about is the light coming from, is it a northern exposure, an eastern exposure, so that you're talking about how much light might be coming in. We can see here in this sunroom, there are ways that you can maximize that even more, architecturally speaking, with the windows above. Skylights are a great opportunity to bring in more light to a room. So we're always thinking about it in those terms. I think, Anne, you had just completed a bathroom, and there was a beautiful big tub. What was the focal point with that tub? Another big window.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So when we're doing a remodel in that sense, we can think about that natural light, also the way that it highlights the room, highlights the tub in this case, but just the way that it adds to it being a focal point. For the types of light that are in a room, we have our ambient light, also known as your general lighting. So that could be what really illuminates the room. Here we have panels from above. People use a lot of recessed lighting to provide that general light. But there are other ways that you can provide that with sconces, with pendants. But these are the things that are going to give you the general illumination. But the ones that are even more effective, of course, are your task lighting. Or one example of that is the under cabinet lighting, which is great for food preparation in the kitchen. As you can see, it's also great in a laundry room area like this, so that you can sort through, fold. It just brings more focus of light to what you're doing at hand. And then we have our accent light, which is a great way to highlight or bring special attention, as in this example that they've done in the bar area for that family room. And having a combination of those in the way that you want to layer your lighting really will make a difference. So you want lighting from different sources, different kinds of lighting here. And I like the ability to have the ultimate control over those by having different lights on individual switches. Dimmers can also play an important factor in that. But it's all about being able to create a mood and an ambiance that makes a room also feel very special. When we're talking about lighting, there's also the quality of light. Is that light going to feel warm and have a yellowish tone in the way that incandescent bulbs, as we've known them to be, provide that? Then we also see some LED lighting, which in previous years felt very cold. It was very white and bright. I think of the icicle lights that people decorate with during the holidays, having that kind of light quality. Is that something that you would want in your room? Well, it could make sense in a bathroom in the way that it adds added brightness. So color temperature is that one example in the way that it can also affect creating that mood. We use selectable LED lights so that we can control the color output. And that's going to be very important because it also then affects the appearance. As Anne was talking about, all of these light-toned woods and tiles and these other things, in a yellow light, they're going to appear differently. It's why you might have selected something at a store and you get it home, this doesn't look like it did, because the lighting will be different there. So that's kind of my highlight.
So we will work on that electrical plan with you and talk about where the test lighting's going to be, where the ambient lighting's going to be, how this, the natural lighting's going to affect this. So you will be given an electrical plan like this that will highlight all of those features, which is very, very important. Getting tangled. Bathrooms. So what has become popular in bathrooms these days? Everybody's making their bathroom like a spa-like atmosphere. We're seeing a lot of freestanding tubs. We're seeing a lot of curbless showers. Even though you think it's no big deal to lift your foot over a 4-inch curb, sometimes it is a big deal. Imagine if you have, a broken foot and you have to get into the shower. Sometimes it's easier to walk into a shower without stepping over a curb. So we are doing a lot of curbless showers. We talk about things like grab bars and benches and niches and all the features that will make your bathroom function a little bit better and allow you to age in that bathroom, right? You want to think about the future. If you're going to be in your house for a while, don't think about today. You're all fine today, but who knows what it's going to be like in a couple of years. So we're going to talk about how that's going to affect your new plan. This bathroom in particular has what we call a wet room. So the shower and the bathtub and everything is confined behind the shower doors. This was quite an elaborate shower. 2 shower heads, 2 jets, two everything. So it was kind of neat. But we're seeing a lot of these fun things. Oprah said, I remember when Oprah was on, she said your bathroom, your master bathroom, and your bedroom should be the 2 prettiest rooms in your house. And in most homes, it's like, oh God, I hope nobody ever goes up in my bathroom because who knows what it's going to look like. But it's true. Like that's where you want to go home at night, and that's where you want to wake up in the morning. If it's beautiful, it's going to just set your day and your day in motion much better.
Wait a minute, before you move on,
Okay.
I just want to say something a little bit more about this bathroom. First off, every picture that you're seeing here has been a Cipriani Remodeling Solutions project. And I wanted to pause a moment because this one is so beautiful. It was a project that Ann had designed. Who would want to, live in a home that had a bathroom like this? Pretty amazing, right? And again, the thought that was given to the positioning of the window and tub together.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Question.
Sure.
The tub, is standing by itself. So what's the water draining to?
There's a drain in the middle that's drained, right out like a normal tub would be. There's a drain in the center of that tub.
Well, the question is, where's the shower head?
So in this case, the shower head is so the tub has no shower head. The tub has no shower head. The shower is this bathroom is big. It's about as big as that. What we're looking at is about as big as this section. So over here was the tub, right? And then way over here was the shower. So it's that big. So this like 9 people can bathe and shower every day.
So what you might not see is that the water source for the tub is a floor-mounted faucet. And so it's completely different than, you don't shower necessarily in that tub. Right. The shower items, shower head, opposing on each side, handheld, nice little bench, and all of the controls that can operate each one of these and the temperature as well. Body sprays, just really, I call that the car wash experience because you go in and just stand there, get done from all sides. Yeah.
You have to put that addition on to give you
It's fun. It's fun to do. It's fun to do any bathroom, right? Any size, because you can do a lot of great things. You don't have to have a bathroom like this. Go ahead.
Does the floor have to drain as well? Just curious with all these all over. Does the floor have to drain? So
Yes.
Okay, that's what I don't want.
Yeah. So there's a drain in the tub, and there's a drain. It's white, so it's in here somewhere. It's white. You just can't see it because of how it faded into the tile.
Actually, it was Taiwan like that. Korea was like that. I think some part of China in the hotel has similar
Oh, really?
concept like
Oh,
that.
okay. Well, that's where everyone gets the ideas, right? They come from.
Because I was in Korea. They don't have a tub. We just okay, whatever.
Ken, you're doing so well with your lighting. Could you talk about flooring for us?
Sure. I would love to talk about flooring. I even have some samples to go along with that. So just like countertops, we have a couple of different major categories when we think about your flooring options. And first off is good old hardwood. It has a classic kind of feel to it, a classic appearance, right? Compared to something like tile or vinyl, you just can't duplicate the warmth of the feeling that wood has. It is a little bit more of a commitment in terms of the way you want to treat your floors. Unless you really love that worn-in kind of look, where it can scratch, animals with their claws and that kind of trampling around will start to add character. And hardwood will come in two different ways. One would be solid, and the other is called engineered. Has anyone heard the term engineered flooring? They are of equal quality. It's just the way that they go about it. It's difficult, particularly in wide lengths, to find the planks that you can get in 6-inch wide, 7-inch wide, 8-inch wide, which is more in demand. So engineered means that they simply have laminated together a base and then the top, which is this one right here, thank you. The top layer is that wood surface, and it gives you, again, greater flexibility when you're looking for wider planks.
It's a more stable product.
Yeah.
So, if you're doing this and you want a wide plank like this, you wouldn't be able to do that with a solid because underneath, the layers underneath are crisscrossed, which allows for expansion and contraction and a little bit more stability. So,
Excellent.
equally as good as, don't be scared away when you see engineered flooring. It's equally as good as a solid hardwood floor.
Right. And then we have the man-made look-alike, which in this example, we call this luxury vinyl tile. Luxury vinyl plank is also another way that it can be referenced. But being man-made means that is more durable. They've come a long way. I think that they duplicate the appearance pretty nicely. I still am a wood person myself. But where this excels, why it has become the #1 flooring product for every kind of installation is because of its durability, both in water, so it's waterproof. You could completely submerge this and pull it out, install it the next day. It's not going to warp, it's not going to expand. So it makes it great for damp locations like basements, laundry rooms, and people are now putting them in their bedrooms because the durability factor. So as I mentioned earlier about pets and having concerns about scratches, well, nothing is bulletproof. Everything is susceptible to getting somewhere, but this holds up so much better and is really great when you have pets and you're concerned about their nails scratching on the floor.
A lot of big apartment complexes, they use this type of wood now, or low.
Yes. We installed this very attractive looking plank. This is man-made. It's been here for 7 years is when we opened our design center. It's got a lot of wear and tear, almost to a commercial level when we think about how much that we use this space. It's held up great, minimal wear and tear, scratching. And even from a product 7 years ago, I think they did a very nice job in showing the characteristics of wood with its knots and graining, and just continues to get better and better in that way.
I have heard with engineered flooring that you can't refinish it.
It depends on the engineered floor. It depends on that wear layer.
Yeah.
So if you look at this wear layer, see how thick that is? See that wood right there? That,
Do once or twice.
that can be sanded, yes, you can sand that. Some of the engineered floors have a very thin wear layer, and they're the ones that are $4 a square foot. Those cannot be resanded because you'll just get down to the plywood underneath. But as long as there's a decent wear layer on it, it can be sanded. Keep in mind the coatings that are now used on hardwood floors, whether it's an engineered or a solid hardwood, it's an aluminum oxide coating, so it's much stronger than the floors that we used before that just had a urethane coating on it. So when you sand that down, first of all, it's very hard to sand it down because it's an aluminum oxide. When you sand it down and put a urethane finish on it again, you're going to have to resand that again and again. So most people aren't resanding their hardwood floors. They're doing something called screen and recoat. It's just like a light buffing and another finish on top. So the newer floors aren't going to need sanding like the old floors have done. So does that answer your question? Okay.
Can you pass that around?
Sure.
I'm just curious.
I'll start here. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then you have good old tile.
Good old tile. Tile is great because it is so durable. It shouldn't have any concerns with pets or wear and tear, but it can be a little bit uncomfortable, right? If you're standing in your kitchen and you're doing a lot of preparation, you're running around, it'll take its toll. It's not very forgiving, so your joints can feel that, your ankles, your knees, your back. It can also be a little bit cold. So we think about tile being used in a bathroom also, and you walk in the morning and you don't have your socks on, your barefoot hits the floor and whoo, you feel that. It's another reason why people are using the luxury vinyl plank in bathrooms because it just feels nicer underfoot. It is a little bit more comfortable. Tile is great though, but it is more expensive to install. It requires its own underlayment. There's more labor hours involved with the setting of each tile, with the coming back and grouting, sealing that grout. So it's a different investment level for putting in tile.
But no matter what you pick, there's so many different options out there, and this is what we're going to help you try to narrow down. What we talked about tonight with some of the different styles are a few of the many, many things that we have to help you choose. So when we do a kitchen, I have a checklist that has 157 things that I have to check off of the things that happen in your kitchen. And a bathroom has its own checklist, and an addition has its own checklist. So these are some of the things that we will help you with, and along with all of the other additional things. So now we're up to step 5, and that's where we finally build the project. Yay, we've selected everything. We know the price of your project. We know exactly what you're doing. We're ready to build. We left this book on the driveway. You and I are in vacation in Europe for a couple of weeks, and the guys are going to start building your project. So who are our guys? So we have a wonderful team of project managers. So your project will have a dedicated project manager that is your person who is going to coordinate every detail of your project. They'll handle the framing, they'll handle the electric, they'll handle the plumbing, they'll handle the tile setting, they'll handle everything. They'll give you a schedule, they'll talk to you on a regular basis so you understand what's going on. He will be your single point of communication. I should say he or she. We have Bella, who's our first carpenter, our first female carpenter. So anyway, so they will be your single point of communication during the build process. So you'll be able to talk to them on a regular basis. Your designer doesn't disappear through the project. We come back, we come in and we look. It's my favorite part of the job because I go in and say, oh, look how pretty. And everything looks so good. So I get so excited to see everything that we've worked with happening. So you have a team of people. Your project manager will be one of these guys. There is not one person that I would say, oh gosh, I hope you don't get that one. He's not very very good. Like everybody is fantastic. I trust every one of them. I went to a project recently and looked for Nick, and I couldn't find Nick, and his truck was there, his tools were there. I'm like, where the heck's Nick? Nick was out walking the family dog. So they're there to try to make the journey of your project very smooth. They're dedicated. They'll do wonderful dust protection for you. That's a big thing that Jay Cipriani. I didn't even tell you about Jay Cipriani. Jay's been the original owner of Cipriani for the past 48 years. So Jay has very strict standards. The guys will execute all of his standards by doing proper dust protection. They'll give you a schedule that says this is when your project's going to start, this is when your project's going to finish. They're very skilled at what they do. They're very good at good communication, and they have very good quality control measures that are set in place for them to follow all of the standards that Cipriani has set. So, to sum it up, a successful remodeling project isn't just about the great design, it's about having a process that protects the design. So you want it all. When you're doing your project, you want to make sure that you have it all. You want to make sure you have a good team designing it. You want to make sure you have a good team planning it. You want to make sure you have a good team building it. And that's what we're here for, is to help you through your project so that you can have a great design. So I'm going to open it up to any questions that you have specific about your project or just in general about how we work. Go ahead.
We're looking to do our kitchen. We like that two-tone, the green on the lowers and like maybe like a white or a creamy white. So how do you pair that? What sort of metals do you pair it with? And how dark would you go with the green, and how light would you go with the opposing color?
I think we'll explore a little bit more about what your house looks like. With the green, gold looks gorgeous with green. Chrome looks gorgeous with green. I think we have to look at your whole house and see what your style is. Talk to you a little bit more about what you like, what you don't like. It's not a one answer to your question. We have to discover a lot when we meet with you. That's why we're going to come. We're going to sit at your kitchen table. We're going to talk to you. We're going to talk about the things that you like and the things that you don't like. We will come up with a gorgeous design for you. And it's going to be a process of figuring it out. And that's where we're going to learn a lot more about you. But I love the idea of the green. I love the idea of your concept. Kelsey did a project just like that. I'll have to get, right? Didn't she do the green with the uppers being a light color?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember who that homeowner was.
It was an off-white. It wasn't a stark white. And there were some other elements in the room too, like the backsplash and the flooring there played a role. One of the things that we as designers look at when it comes to combining colors and then matching in finishes are what are the undertones. Green can look very bright and cheery, like a yellow-based green. A blue-based green is going to have a different undertone and feel to it. So there you need to start to pair it. What are the undertones of my other things, like the wood? Is it a darker brown? Does it have some reddishness that you might find in cherry? Is it a lighter oak that has the yellow warmth? So really, it's hard to answer that as a rule of thumb because you have to look at it from a perspective of undertones and balancing all of that out together.
I've done 100 white kitchens in the past couple of years, and every kitchen has looked totally different, right? So you could have all the same, I could do the same countertop, I could do the same cabinet, but based on everything else that we do, it will look different. So the best way to have us help you through that is to have us come out to the house and talk to you about your project so we can get a little bit more specific and guide you through that process.
If you want to set your appointment with Crystal, with Madison, where you checked in, we've made it very convenient for you in that you'll have a reminder card. And so I encourage everyone, now that we've finished up, to set that appointment and also break up one-on-one to discuss your projects.